Hello, people of the internet. Today, we will be starting our run of Pokemon Fire Red version, the Nuzlocke Challenge. Now, the Nuzlocke Challenge, for people who don't know, is essentially Pokemon Hard Mode. Because the traditional Pokemon game it's fun, it's great, but it is definitely a kid's game. There's no real way to lose, at least when you're playing story mode. So the Nuzlocke Challenge is a series of additional rules that you kind of impose upon yourself to make the game harder, more challenging. Rule number 1 is that if a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead, and you can never use it again. You either have to release it or put it in a special box in the PC and just never touch it again. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 of the Nuzlocke Challenge is that you can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter in each route, each area. Gift Pokemon count in that, because I know when you get to Celadon City, there's that Eevee there, and you can also catch something by fishing in the pond. Well, you can't do both, because the Eevee's a gift Pokemon. You know, if you accept the Eevee, that is the Pokemon you get for Celadon City. You can't catch anything from fishing. That would be cheating. So only one Pokemon per area, period. I don't think I'm going to count the starter in that. I might. I mean, I don't think there's really anything else you can do in Pallet Town, so the starter might count for Pallet Town. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because there's nothing else you can do in Pallet Town. But that's the basic rules there. The third rule of a Nuzlocke run is that you need to nickname all of your Pokemon. And that's not really important in terms of actual gameplay, but it does have a huge impact on how you feel about the gameplay. Because if every Pokemon can die, and you're also limited on how many Pokemon you can get, so you have a limited number of teammates, and they can all die, then obviously whenever each one dies, that's a big deal. And adding names just kind of adds even more emotional attachment to it. So it makes it even worse when something dies, and it's for dramatic purposes that we put it in the nicknames. But that is a rule that we'll be following. And then a fourth rule is kind of optional. A lot of Nuzlockers do this, but it's not necessary. And that's the duplicates clause. Essentially, remember rule 2, you can only catch the first thing you encounter in each area. Well, the duplicates clause says that if the first thing you encounter is something that you already have, or in some cases from a family that you already have, and that's how we would play in this particular game, if it's from a family you already have, then you can skip it and instead catch the second thing you encounter. And if the second thing you encounter is also from a family you already have, then basically you can keep going on that area until you find something new. Now, there are some areas of the game where the only possible Pokemon you can catch are things that you've already encountered elsewhere. So there are some areas where that won't really apply, where you'll just not be able to catch anything in that area because of the duplicates clause. But those are few and far between. Most areas you should be able to catch something new, and that helps because it allows for a wider variety in a Nuzlocke team. Otherwise, without that rule, by the time we get to Misty, we have a team of like 8 Pidgeys. That's our entire Pokemon crew. So the duplicates clause is definitely a good thing to have. Okay, naturally you have to name your rival something offensive. It's the rules. You just got to. I mean, it's not an actual rule in Nuzlocke, but it's something that every Pokemon player ever has done, is just nickname their rival something offensive. So my rival for this playthrough will be Suckface. Yep, Suckface, Professor Oak's grandson. Anyway, something I have not yet mentioned is that this run-through is actually going to be a bit more than a regular Nuzlocke. Because yes, it is a regular Nuzlocke, but I'm also playing a Nuzlocke in conjunction with my sister. I'm playing this, Fire Red version. She will be playing Leaf Green version at the same time. And basically, after every gym battle, we will meet up and fight each other. And we have some special rules on what we do there too. Like the winner will get something, and I don't want to go too much into detail on that just yet, because you know this first episode is going to be full of explanations anyway. So I don't want to, you know, spend too much time explaining all the new rules when I already just spent the last 5 minutes just explaining what Nuzlocke was. So I'm starting the game here, and I am running in conjunction with my sister, as I mentioned. Now, Mom just said Professor Oak's looking for me, but if you go into his lab, he's not there. The only way to get him to appear is to try to reach out. And that is another thing to point out. I'm not really reading the stuff that's popping up on the screen, because I know the plot of the game, but I am going through every step. I'm going to talk to everyone and go through all the plot relevance of the game. I'm not going to skip anything if I can help it. Because even though I know how the game goes, I know the story, maybe not all of my viewers will. So this is just something I'm doing just for the benefit of my viewers, for the benefit of my sister, who isn't really a Pokemon player. She's never played through these games. So I'm doing this more to keep in line with what she'll be doing in her Nuzlocke run, because the whole point is that we're running parallel to one another. So that is something. You know, everyone makes the joke that Professor Oak is a perverted old man who's trying to send these two boys out on their quest so that he can stay home and bang your mom. But, you know, I suspect something a bit more grim. I mean, not like evil or anything, but like, I don't think Professor Oak's a perverted old man. I think he's just senile. He's insane. You know, he forgot that Suckface was invited over. He invited you over, but he's not there if you go over there. He forgot his grandson's name and all that stuff. He said he used to have a whole bunch of Pokemon. He was an avid trainer when he was a kid, but now he only has 3 left. Well, maybe he shouldn't be giving them out to strangers. And, I don't know, just a lot of things that Professor Oak says don't really add up. Maybe he sends you and Suckface out on the quest because he doesn't realize how old you are. Because he's a senile old man who doesn't make the connection. Anyway, as for the starter decision, the hardest decision of every 10-year-old's life is which Pokemon to start with. Now, I have talked to my sister about this, and like I said, we will be battling after each gym battle. So it's kind of important to coordinate what our starters are in accordance with that. And she told me that she has a preference for Bulbasaur, which I get, I understand. I used to always play as Bulbasaur when I was a kid, mostly because Bulbasaur is the one that no one ever picks. So, you know, I always liked Bulbasaur because he was special, unique. No one else liked him. And I like rooting for the underdog, you know? So I always went with Bulbasaur because all my friends always went with Charmander or Squirtle, and I just felt Bulbasaur was left out. So that's why I went with Bulbasaur when I was a kid. So my sister's going with Bulbasaur. She is definitely not as experienced with Pokemon as I am. I'm the better player than she is. So I'm not going to go with Bulbasaur too, because you guys don't want to see 2 Nuzlockes of basically the exact same thing. I want to be different from her, and at the same time, I definitely don't want to choose Charmander because she's already at a disadvantage of not having the same experience as I do. And adding a type advantage on top of that would just be unfair to her. So I'm going to go with Squirtle as my starter. So that's my reasoning for choosing Squirtle. Okay, so I'm gonna take that. Awesome. And you have to nickname everything. And I'm going to go with Leonards. And I don't want you guys thinking that I came up with this on the fly. I have put some thought into this. Like I said, my sister and I were discussing our starters before we started playing. And also, I had some recording issues trying to record this. So this is actually like the 3rd or 4th time I've been here. So I knew what name I was going to use from the very beginning. Now, if that was a female Squirtle, sorry, if that was a female Squirtle, which it wasn't, that would have thrown me for a loop, because Leonards obviously wouldn't work there. And, of course, the joke with Leonards is that Leonardo is one of the Ninja Turtles, and Nards is a slang term for male genitalia. So it's kind of a sex joke. Ha ha ha. You know? So I'm trying to get into the mindset of the 11-year-old boy that I am playing as. Although, to be fair, nowhere in the games does it actually say how old your character is. In the TV show, in the anime, Ash is definitely 10, but this character, he could be 10, he could be 15. They don't really say anywhere in the game. He's definitely still a child, though. They do say that he's a kid. So that's important to note. Now comes the first battle of the game, and Suckface is always going to choose whatever you are weak against, and that's just how it is. Something I always thought was interesting is how Suckface's sprite changes throughout the game. Like, in the first battle, he's all excited, and you can see him becoming more and more frustrated as you beat him more and more. I always thought that was cool. But, yeah, tutorial, I know how to play the game. During one of my trial recordings, I actually went to the bag and used an item to heal, which I won't be doing in this fight, because this fight doesn't actually count. Most Nuzlockers don't count this first fight towards Nuzlocke. I think I'm going to win anyway, whether I count it or not, but I'm not going to bother healing if it, you know, even if I am losing, I'm not going to bother healing and wasting my one potion, because this fight doesn't normally count, you know? That's not something that most Nuzlockers consider. And something I found out, again, during one of my test recordings, is that they do actually heal you in between after this fight, which is something that I always never knew. Like, when I was playing as a kid, I always went to my house and rested at home every time after the tutorial battle. But no, they do actually heal you after this fight, which is news to me, so that's cool. Now, the only thing to do, since you can't go south just yet, is to go north through Route 1 to home. Yeah, okay. Now, you can only catch the first Pokemon in each route rule. That rule does not actually take effect until after you get the Pokedex. So, whatever I run into up here will not count against me, which is important to know. So I'm gonna keep going up Route 1. You talk to this person, he'll give you a free potion. And I'm sorry, I already forgot. Did I get the potion from the PC? I'm gonna check my bag. I have 2 potions, so yes, I did get the potion from the PC. Okay. Now, Route 1, they only have Rattatas and Pidgeys. Those are the only things on Route 1. So, my first catch is going to be pretty obviously one of those. Unless I kill it on accident, which is a possibility, but I'm going to be careful, because you definitely want to catch the first few. Because going against Brock and Misty with just your starter is not easy at all. And I know some challengers do that. There's a even more advanced Nuzlocke run where they add additional rules on top of the regular Nuzlocke rules, and one of them is to play the entire game using only your starter and nothing else. And you know, that is definitely doable if you level up a lot from the very beginning of the game, but it's not what I would call fun, you know. But yeah, I'm approaching the next area, that is Viridian City. And up here, first thing you do when you enter any new town is to go to the Pokemon Center. Now, if this weren't a Nuzlocke run, it wouldn't be as important. But even in non-Nuzlocke runs, you want to go to the Pokemon Center pretty early on, because when you learn the ability to fly, you can only fly to areas whose Pokemon Center you have been to. So going to the Pokemon Center first marks that area on your map, essentially. so that you can fly to it later. You go to, I'm just advancing the plot here. If you go to the Pokemart, the man behind the counter, I guess that's a man, I don't really know, will give you a parcel to deliver to Professor Oak, which means going back to Pallet Town. I have no idea how the guy behind the counter knew I was from Pallet Town, but, I mean, they're neighboring towns. I guess he could have visited, or I could have visited when I was a kid, I don't know. He might have recognized me. I mean, this is the next town over. It's not like Route 1's very long, so I'm sure people have made the journey before. In fact, this guy is standing right outside Pallet Town. He's from the Viridian City Pokemart, so, you know, there's all sorts of possible explanations. I don't think we've seen a Pidgey yet. It's just been nothing but Rattata so far, which is weird. But, you know, that's I guess fine. That means I'm more likely to come across a Pidgey. Well, no, it doesn't actually mean that at all. But, you know, in your mind, you think it's more likely to come across a Pidgey when you come back here next time, which means that's more likely what I'm going to be catching. Because this right here, delivering this package, is when Professor Oak will give you the Pokedex, and that's when the first encounter rule takes effect. Is here you deliver the parcel. Again, like I was saying earlier, Oak, being a senile old man, he forgot he even ordered that parcel. You know, he didn't expect that at all. And then Suckface comes in, he says, "What did you call me for?" And you notice that Suckface almost forgot to come over. So apparently, you know, senility, forgetfulness, runs in the family, apparently. But Professor Oak, of course, forgot that he even invited Suckface over. That is a big machine, the Pokedex. In the show, they show it as like a little tiny card or whatever. But, you know, that's as big as his head. And that does make sense, considering it's supposed to be an encyclopedia. But still, that's kind of large. Again, it's probably just a sprite of the game. But, you know, they can only do so much with Game Boy Advance graphics. You have to catch Pokemon to get their data. So here are tools for catching wild Pokemon, and you get Pokeballs. Now he wants us to catch as many Pokemon as possible. That's not going to happen in a Nuzlocke run, but at the same time, you know, we'll catch a fair few. I mean, one on every route, and then they'll evolve, and that counts. All the evolutions count as separate Pokemon in terms of the Pokedex, as far as Pokedex completion goes. So we'll get, like, I don't know, 40 or 50 out of the 151 in this. Well, we're playing Leaf Green and Fire Red, so there's a lot more than 151, but out of the 151 Generation 1 Pokemon, we'll probably catch like 50 of them. Which isn't too bad, considering. So, you know, he's an old man, he's senile, he recognizes his own senility, so he wants us to go and fulfill his dream of catching all the world's Pokemon for him. Blah blah blah. Suckface is a douchebag. Probably should have named him Douchebag. Okay, and he gives us a pretty unsolicited piece of sarcastic advice here. I'm gonna go borrow a town map from my sis, and I'll tell her not to lend you one. Ha 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 ha! Yeah, he's a giant jerkwad. So don't bother coming to my place. See ya! And then he just leaves. Now, that always struck me as odd, too. Because why does Suckface's sister, Daisy, have more than one map that she can give away to people? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you need more than one map? It doesn't... that whole family is just weird, right? But, you know, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what Suckface said and go over to his house and, get the map from his sister. Because his sister's not a douchebag. His sister's nice. Weird, but nice. Then I'm gonna go over to my house and rest. I know I only am missing like 3 health, but, you know, better safe than sorry, especially in a Nuzlocke run. So I'm gonna heal up, and now this is the exciting part. What am I gonna get? First catch of the game. What's it gonna be? Let's head on up. What I got? What I got? What I got? Pidgey? Pidgey? Okay. Level 3 male Pidgey. Okay, I can work with that. No, Pidgey is definitely the better Pokemon between the Pidgey and the Rattata. But at the same time, Pidgey is also a lot easier to catch, and there's a good chance that you'll get it in other areas in the Nuzlocke run. So it's kind of either way. Either one's satisfactory. I mean, I would be happy with either one of them. The Rattata will learn Hyper Fang and then later on Super Fang, both of which are extremely powerful attacks that have high critical hit chances. So those are good attacks to have in a Nuzlocke. Okay. I did not think of a name for this, but, you know, someone, I should say, that kind of inspired me to do the Nuzlocke thing to begin with, is the YouTube channel Super Carlin Gaming, which is a spin-off of the Super Carlin Brothers YouTube channel, which does all sorts of theories on movies and stuff. But essentially, Jay Carlin, his Nuzlocke run of this game is what kind of inspired me to do this. So, in honor of him, I'm going to name my first catch of the Nuzlocke Carlin. And you should definitely check out his Nuzlocke run, too, of this game. He is a lot more entertaining than I am. His voice is a lot less grating than mine. And he's completed, so you can watch the entire thing in all one go if you want, as opposed to me, who is just now starting. So you should definitely check him out if you're interested in that. I guess I'll put a link in the description if I remember to do that. But for now, I'm just going to continue northwards and try to get through to Viridian City again, and go from there. Now, Super Carlin Brothers, he's also did first half of Heart Gold, but he stopped partway through, and I'm not sure why. I can take a guess, though. I mean, I attempted a Nuzlocke of Leaf Green a while back, and I lost some of my recording, and I was tempted to just keep going anyway, just like skip an episode and just keep going, but the first death of the series just happened to happen during that last episode, and yeah, I just couldn't bear missing that in a series, so I just gave up on the entire run, so to speak. So yeah, that's what happened to my failed Nuzlocke run. But I'm starting again, and I had my sister to join me. And I'm going off on tangents now, but this is Route 22. This is the next area that we can catch something in. There's like a 15% chance of a Mankey or something like that, and like a 10% chance of a Spearow. And then, of course, you know, Rattata and Pidgey are both here, too. But I'm really hoping for the Mankey. Mankey's a fighting type, and that's going to be extremely useful against Brock. And fighting types in general are pretty strong in this game. Not as strong as, like, psychic types, but they're pretty strong in this particular game. And this is the only fighting type you can get all the way up to the Rock Tunnel, or Mankey is, I should say. Now, Mankey does show up on Route 4 as well, so it's not like this is my only chance to get him, but this is probably Route 4 is after Brock, so this will be the best chance to get him. So I'm hoping to get the Mankey. Spearow wouldn't be too bad, except I already have Pidgey, and 2 flyers is kind of redundant. And of course, Rattata, I already talked about Rattata having Super Fang and Hyper Fang, both of which are useful, but, I mean, there are more useful things out there, is what I'm saying. So, hopefully I catch the Mankey, and if not, well, you know, I'm just going through my thought process here, going through. And, okay, well, that worked out, that worked out. Okay, so, I don't think I've been able to one-hit anything so far, so so I think I should be safe doing this. Yeah, okay. Because I don't want to knock it out, because if I knock it out, then I can't catch anything on this route at all. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt this Pokeball. Fingers crossed. Rock, 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 and catch. There's the Mankey. Awesome. Now Mankey's kind of useless for now, until it can learn Low Kick. I think at level 6? Yeah. Okay, and a nickname. Nickname for a female Mankey. I did not think of a name for a female Mankey. Okay, I'm gonna go with Maria the Mankey. Maria the Mankey, which the name won't really work too well once it becomes a primate, but, you know, doesn't matter. I'm not very creative with names, so that's what I've got. Now, up ahead, you fight your rival, Suckface, again. Suckface will be waiting for me up there. So, I'm just going to level up a bit. I think Leonards here is high enough. He can probably survive. But, you know, Maria and Carlin are both pretty weak right now, since I caught them straight from the grass and haven't used them any yet. So they're both pretty low level, and that's, you know, something I want to address before facing the rival. So let's just after I get out of this battle, I'll see how long I've been recording. And if I've been recording for long enough, I might just stop recording here and do grinding the entire episode. Because I have a fair bit of grinding to do to get these guys strong enough to face Suckface. So let's see, how long have I been recording for? Game time, 22 minutes. Yeah, that's probably good enough. I'm going to head back to the Pokemon Center. I'm going to heal there and then save and stop recording there. Now, I'm going to actually record the next episode immediately after this, so I'm going to keep playing, but so the next episode will be, you know, it'll come out later, but it'll be immediately after this. But essentially, in the next episode, the plan is to grind, and I guess towards the end of the next episode, I'll face Suckface again. And then episode 3, I'll go through the Viridian Forest. And then episode 4, I kind of expect to grind a bit, and then face Brock at the end of episode 4. So that's the plan so far. Of course, things might change. You know, nothing's set in stone. But that's what I have in store for you guys. So, I hope you enjoyed this first episode, and I hope you continue to enjoy future episodes of this Nuzlocke run. Keep an eye out for my sister's releases as well, because she'll be doing these Nuzlocke runs together. She'll be recording later tonight, I imagine, and we will release them. We'll come up with some schedule to release them at. But after each gym battle, we'll be fighting each other, so it's good to follow both of us, so you can see what our teams are like before we go into the battle against each other. But without further ado, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, bye-bye.